Hi guys, Ali Duzette here, and today I am here with Naomi Fox Reina, who's one of my best friends. We basically talk every single day, and I love her so much. And so here's the deal. So, obviously on my channel, I talk a lot about astrology, but years ago, I foolishly signed away my own rights to teach astrology. I am allowed to legally teach general astrology, and I am not allowed to teach natal chart interpretation. And I thought that was going to be okay for me because I'm a healer. The stuff I talk about on this channel is really fun and exciting, but really the bulk of the work that I do in my real life is healing work. And I thought, oh, I'm a healer. I'll never want to teach astrology, but I was wrong, alas. And now I am deeply committed to making sure that none of my clients end up in the same legal quagmire that I am in. So I love my old teacher, but I cannot pass my students on to her. And I have partnered with Naomi to be the person that I love to teach the people that want to learn astrology from me. If you can't learn it from me, I hope you learn it from Naomi. So Naomi, right now, your Light-Filled Astrology certification course is open for registration, which is pretty rare. How many times does this happen a year?
Like two, maybe three times a year. So this is not like we're doing this again in a couple of weeks kind of a thing.
Yes. Yeah. I can't even remember the last time that you had this open. And this is a pretty exclusive program because it ends up being, like this is live, right?
Yes.
Like my stuff is usually not live. I record live once and that's it. And my own certification program was recorded live once and that was it. And I occasionally hop on for a live Q&A, but like really people have to go through it on their own. But for this, it is
It's the best of both because they do get the pre-recorded content. So you get the best of me and the best of like the way that I put it together. And then we meet live for very small cohorts. We just have a very limited number of people that can go through at a time because we're going to meet and answer all of your questions week by week over the 12 weeks that the program runs. So it's very intensive and also tremendous amounts of support.
yes, I love it. And well, so on my channel, of course, everybody watching it knows what I talk about, which is usually like transits and big stuff that's happening like right here, right now, that's affecting people on a big level. I work more with what is called mundane astrology, which doesn't mean boring. It means like mundo, like Latin for the world, like the whole world, what is affecting the whole world. But you're going to be teaching more the personal astrology that I legally can't.
Yeah, and that's my passion. I love transits, but my passion is the natal chart. I want to know the person. I want to know what makes them tick. And what I love the most about this is that it puts the ability in your hands to be able to understand your own chart. And so that's where the transits can have even bigger impact. Because if you understand, yes, what's going on collectively in the world, that's really helpful. But to take that to that next level, we have a fun little one with us. To take that collectively to that next level is where you can see, oh, the moon might be having this event that's affecting everyone in a really big way, but it might 10 out of 10 be affecting you in a really positive way or in a really negative way. And you can know like, oh, that's why this weekend is so much more intense for me than my neighbor or whatever. That's where it really becomes ultra powerful. And we teach all of that, both the transits for the collective, but also how transits impact your specific natal chart.
I love that. And I will say, as a mom and as a wife, it's been really helpful to know this kind of stuff for my own family as I'm sitting there puzzling over, like, what the heck is happening? I think every parent has been there where you like look at your kids and you're just like, what in the world is this? What is this? And
100%.
having access to those charts and knowing how to read them and knowing how to read them in the context of the transits and of each other, it just makes the world make so much more sense. And it's given me a lot more compassion in my parenting and a lot more
100%.
like, WTF, or a lot less of that. I'm like a lot less like, what the heck? And a lot more like, it's okay. It's okay. They have the moon in Aries. It's okay. This too shall pass.
Oh yeah, I've got two full moon babies, and if I didn't understand astrology, I would have to catch myself from being like, what's wrong with you? But instead I can be like, oh, you're just caught between these two polar opposites on the regular, and it's just a lot to manage within one person.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like this knowledge is really helpful on a personal level. I'll say, man, well, I was talking to Naomi all weekend, but I had like a bunch of crazy stuff happen this weekend. It was like very emotionally turmoiled, and I haven't even talked to anybody about this, but I looked up the transits and I thought, oh my gosh, of course. Now I have to double check, but I think Mars is in Cancer right now, and it's like exactly squaring my my own natal Mars. And so, and my natal Mars in the house of business, Mars in Cancer is going to deal with motherhood. And so I'm like, of course, like the struggle between like home and business is coming into play right now because my own chart is aligning with the transits in this exact way. I want to pause real quick because for people that don't know what a natal chart is, that is the chart of the snapshot of the night sky in the moment that you took your first breath. And that moment is, man, it's a map for the events of your life. In a way, it works as a timeline, but also it works as like almost like a personality test. And it kind of gives you a way to understand the lens through which you experience the world. It just works on so many different levels, but the first step is like, the first step is learning the basics,
Yes.
I'd say that your program is more than the basics.
Yeah,
If
but
you
you can start
feel
with no astrology knowledge and go from there. Um, because we do start with the fundamentals, and then we build and build and build, and then you basically are able to understand what Ali is saying when she's giving any of the things in any of her videos, and then you are empowered.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can start this course not knowing anything and come out of it being very proficient in the
Yes,
language of astrology. And I'll just
absolutely.
say also that is my one tip about learning astrology, is that it is like another language. It really is. When you're listening to people like me get on YouTube and like spout out all these trines and transits and retrogrades and Uranus and Chiron, all this stuff, it sounds like crazy talk, because it's another language. You have to learn the language of it. And when you do, it opens all these doors. But one of the things that I don't know, my big advice is to remember that it's a language and not beat yourself up for not understanding the whole thing at once. If you're learning French, you don't read a French dictionary and think that you're going to be a French master at the end of it. You start with bonjour and then you add in s'il vous plaît, and you learn the basics. But I feel like that is what your course totally does. It gives them the basics in the right order. They can
Yes.
learn bonjour and s'il vous plaît and build up to, I don't know any French. So then they can say a whole sentence in French, which I cannot do.
Exactly. Yes. It's very linear. It's what I wish I would have had when I was learning astrology, because also if you've ever tried to learn astrology and you go Google up anything, you get some pretty funky instructors out there, some people that just aren't filled with light, that they sometimes even cultivate the dark. And so if you want to stay closer to the light, closer to God, closer to your divine creator while you're learning, that's where it gets tricky. And that's why this is light-filled astrology, because when you shine light on something, you actually can see it more accurately. And with that comes compassion and understanding, because if you deeply understand something, you can have endless levels of patience, like we were talking about with our children. And so this gives that endless levels of patience via the understanding, because it just all of a sudden it's like, oh, okay, well, everything is fine and it's just as it should be. And so it's so thorough at being able to get you to that place where you can understand.
Yes. Well, and thank you for bringing that up, because so Naomi teaches, her course is called Light-Filled Astrology. And she also does Light-Filled Human Design, which we're not really talking about today, but just so you know that, she also does that. And her Facebook group is Light-Filled Astrology and Human Design. So go find it. But I did want to mention, I mean, most of the people watching this channel are Christian. I am a Christian. You don't have to be to get good stuff out of the work that I do or the work that Naomi does. But that is kind of where this is coming from, is from a God-centered perspective, because like Naomi said, there's a lot of people with a lot of different perspectives, which is, great and needed in this world. But if you are someone who, like me, I wanted to learn this stuff, but I wanted to be sure that it was going to be presented in a way that was in alignment with my religious upbringing and my religious faith. I mean, like the faith that I carry separate from my upbringing, and in the end, what I had to do was I don't know, kind of like pray about it myself, feel things out myself. And I think everybody should do that. And as you go through Naomi's course, you should do that as well, of course. You take the good from everything, take the good from me and leave the rest that you think, oh man, Allie's a crazy person on, that's totally fine. But for those that want to learn more from a perspective that is going to be respectful of a religious background, and also even I don't know how to put it in like the right way, but it's more than just being respectful of religious background. Like, this definitely honors our creator as the person who created the stars and set that clock in motion. That's all that this is. That's all that this is. This is just a heavenly clock. And we know from the Holy Bible, like, God set, say the star in the heavens that led the wise men to Jesus's birth. Like, there are these moments. I mean, do we think that God didn't put similar things in the sky for the return of Jesus Christ? Well, who's going to be qualified to notice that? Well, you're going to have to start somewhere, so anyway, I just wanted to mention that you don't have to be religious at all to benefit from this. I think Naomi put it very I don't know, you present your stuff very tactfully and in a way that anybody who wants to be filled with light can appreciate. But for those that are like expressly religious in their desires to learn this stuff, this is a safe space. That is what I want to say.
I myself am also actively very religious, but the way that I say it with this is that we give the glory and credit to God, and he's at the center, and everything else comes from that. And that is the core of how this whole astrology course was built. And it's honestly how I live my life.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. I just wanted to point that out, because I get a lot of people that come to me and they are looking for additional instruction, but they say, I can't just trust anybody, which is true. You can't. You really just can't trust anybody. If you are coming from that perspective, it's really important that you have a teacher that you can trust, and that the material is presented in a way that does put God first, that does encourage you to seek personal revelation about things, all of that kind of thing. And I feel like your course is the ideal place for people in that position to get started,
Absolutely.
And I will also, I don't know, should I talk about this? One thing that I said years ago, so my degree is in soil chemistry, and I always just say I've made a lot more money with astrology than I ever have analyzing soil samples. I don't know. I know that a lot of people think that astrology is crazy talk, and I think probably a lot of people who are watching this video have thought that at some point in their lives. I certainly did, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me too.
And maybe people watching this still feel that way. It's okay. I see you guys. Hi, thanks for watching.
Amen. I'm right there with you.
I'm crazy, and I still do. But I just wanted to say also that it is a legitimate career, and
oh yeah, absolutely.
It's definitely a business expense, and not that you have to do it as a business, because I think it's definitely helpful just in parenting and just in your normal life to understand your life better. But also for those that are looking for, if you're looking for ways to financially support yourself, there are worse ways than this. There are not a ton of really great astrologers out there. I mean, there kind of are, but also there's certainly room for more, and people are looking for that.
Well, and I started supporting myself full time as an astrologer as a single mom. I had 3 kids, and this paid all the bills. And I have made multiple 6 figures as an astrologer. It's a fantastic way, and either as a full-time professional astrologer, but I've had people add it to their healing practice, foot zoning, therapy, therapists adding it to the way that they work with their clients. There's literally endless possibilities of how this can weave in with what you're already doing or become its own thing. It's really quite cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, Seidel Schultz is a Light-Filled astrologer certified through Naomi, and she helps people find their voice in their business, and she uses astrology with that, which Absolutely. Is such an innovative connection, but I don't know, it's very innovative, and I think it's really interesting now how so many people that have been very closed off to this are now opening up to it.
Yeah, that was me for sure. I was 100% closed off. And it wasn't until God sent me somebody that had a divine affinity for astrology. And she showed me oh, by the way, blah, blah, blah about the minute you were born and what that means about you. And it just woke something up in me. And now I teach it.
Yeah, that was kind of the same thing with me, where I thought like, this is crazy talk. And then my aunt paid for me to have my star chart read by this, bishop, high priest guy that was also an astrologer. So I was like, okay, I trust that he's coming from the right place religiously. And I read it and I was like, oh no, that's not me. But I had it done when I was a teenager, And so, and when, anyways, that's a whole other discussion. But a year later, I was like, holy crap, everything it was true. He was right about everything, And so that kind of set me on the path of trying to learn more about it. I think the scriptures are clear that there's going to be signs in the heavens, but like, again, who will even notice that they're there? You gotta have a background in it if you want to notice that it's there. And I don't think it's everybody's job to know that.
Yeah, I agree.
There were a couple of wise men. There weren't like 10 million wise men, like, you know what I mean? But for people that are feeling like this is something that they're called to do, maybe you are being called to do it. I don't know. So anyway.
Absolutely. I see that over and over again. Most of the people in my space, they feel called or drawn to learn astrology, but they are scared of where to learn it. And that is what I feel. That is how I am filling the measure of my creation at this season of my life. Is I am here to teach astrology in a light-filled way.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Naomi. Everybody, thank you for being here. If this is something that is piquing your interest, I have a link below that you can click on, and it is my affiliate link, I'll be honest with you. But yeah, click on that link and go check it out. See if that is the thing that you want to do right now. It might be a fun summer activity. I don't know, but feel your own intuition. Your own intuition is qualified to tell you whether or not this is the right thing at the right time for you. And so I would just encourage you to listen to yourself, and if yourself is saying yes or if yourself is saying no, to trust that, because that is going to be accurate for you. I do believe that. And here's my baby. Say hi.
Hi, sweetheart. Oh my goodness, you're so precious.
Yeah.
That little Taurus.
Yeah, I know. She is a little Taurus. Hello.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you so much, Naomi.
Absolutely.
And
Thank you.
I don't know. I'm excited for the next time I have you on.
Yeah,
Yay.
definitely.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.